Yeah, but as I said, I don't want to dwell too much on this because, man, the scriptures is powerful, as you know what I'm saying. So I'm gonna just go back to this. Yeah, Second Ezra, chapter 6, verse 54. And after these, Adam also, who thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also, whom thou, talking about the one everybody calls God, the Most High, whom thou hast chosen. So it clearly tells you that the one everybody calls God has a chosen people. We all come from Adam. So what? The Lord has a chosen people. And this have I spoken before thee, O Lord. See, he's talking to him, the prophet Ezra. Because thou madest the world for our sake. So everybody be asking themselves, like, what's the meaning of life and stuff like that? Well, the meaning of life is for you to serve the nation of Israel. But the nation of Israel is not being served right now. Actually, we're in slavery. We have been in slavery and we're still in slavery. Under who? All the other nations, but mainly the so-called white man, which is Edom and Esau of the Bible. We're of Jacob, the negros, Latinos, and Indianos are of Jacob, and all so-called Caucasians are of Esau and Edom. Going on. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, now this is what the Lord said. Thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. See? Now this goes hand in hand with the book of Isaiah, chapter 4. Isaiah chapter 40 and 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. It's the same. So everybody that think the Apocrypha is not with this is not supposed to be in the King James Version Bible. It is the King James Version Bible. They just took it out by a group called the Bible Destruction Group. I forgot what year, but you can Google it. So, going on. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. Meaning, the Lord has said that they are nothing, but be like unto spit. If it's cold outside, right, and you spit, do you actually turn around and ask yourself, like, I wonder if this spit is going to be cold? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of cold outside. It's freezing. You're not going to say that. You don't care. That's what the Lord thinks of these other nations. And I'm going to show you who the other nations are, because I got pictures. And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. If you have a vessel, a bucket of water, and a drop falls out of it, are you gonna say like, "Oh man, I'm not now I can't get my food nutrients out of this water? What I need?" No, that drop you got more spit in your mouth than that drop of water. Anyway, verse 57. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathens. The word heathen means country dweller. They have no God. Because before the Israelites came, before the God of the Bible, he was always there, but before he established himself with the children of Israel for eternity, all the other nations had gods. You had the so-called white people that had the Greek gods and stuff like that. You had the so-called Asians, they had their god like Buddha and all that nonsense. You had the Arabs, they had their gods like 360 gods, but then they just took one god and made him Allah. You had the Africans; they had their gods, Baal, Misra, Ashtaroth, stuff like that. Demons, basically. They all had demons. That's why the Lord, our power, said, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me. I'm a jealous God." Meaning, there are other gods, but they're just what He made to fool people with. He's real funny, believe it or not. He just made these other gods. Because if you read in the book of Job, Job chapter 2, it shows you that even Satan follows orders of God. The one everybody calls God, which is the Lord, the Most High, Yahweh, Shem, Yahshua. Now, if you listen to the so-called white man, he says that Satan and God is always beefing. They're fighting. No, 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 no. Read the story of Job, Job chapter 2. The Lord, the Most High, He made a deal with Satan. Like, you see that guy over there? Go and kill all that he has, but spare his life, save his life. Meaning, don't kill him. That's an order, my man. It's like you telling your maid, like, look, you clean the whole house, but you do not come into my room because I will clean my room myself. I don't like people snuffing around in my room. If she disobeys, then you fire her. Now going on. That's the order, and she's not going to do that. She want that money. Which have now, and on now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, these country dwellers, they have no father, which have ever been reputed as nothing. The Lord said they are nothing. Have begun to be rulers over us, lords over us, and to devour us. Didn't they devour us in slavery? Didn't they devour the Native Americans and the Latinos, the so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans, which are Israelites also, by the way? Going back to the black consciousness movement, this is not a black consciousness movement nonsense. This is a nation thing, the nation of Jacob. Verse 58. But we, thy people, see, Ezra says, we, thy people, we're the Lord's people, the Most High, Yahweh, Shem, Yahushai, who thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. Go into the book of Isaiah chapter 40. I think it was 40. Let me get that quick. Isaiah chapter 40. Or 42. Yeah, 42, I think. Yeah. It's 42. Pursuant to the book of Isaiah chapter 42, verse 24. Also, this is just one of the scriptures. Where it says, I'll read it right now. Isaiah 42 and 24. Whom gave Jacob for a spoil. And, wait a minute, let me get that right here. 42 and 24. Who gave Jacob for a spoil, and Israel to the robbers? Jacob are the so-called Negros, and Israel are the Indianos and the Latin-speaking tribes. When I say so-called Negros, I mean Haitians and Jamaicans and Curacao, Antilla, those places. Jamaica, I think I said that. Anyway, who gave Jacob for a spoil, and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord, He against whom we have sinned? So we have sinned against the Most High. That's why He let the Native Americans almost get eradicated, basically. They wanted to exterminate them. I think it was on the island, I forgot what island it was, Puerto Rico. From the million plus, from the plus million so-called Native Americans, there was only like 600 left or something like that, or 800. They basically wanted to exterminate them, but the Lord kept them alive. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to do away with the with the tribes of the nation of Jacob. Although we, in the book of Revelation chapter 7, it doesn't mention the tribe of Dan. But it is mentioned that the tribe of Dan is in the midst of all Israel. Because it says in the book of Genesis, he will be a judge. But anyway, Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord? He against whom we have sinned? For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. This goes back to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse verse I'll start at 47. Deuteronomy 47. Now check this out. It all goes in hand with each other, okay? Because thou did because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemy, which the Lord shall send against thee. The Lord did that. The one everybody calls God. He's a tough guy, man. I'm telling you, man. He's to be feared. In hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. When we want to have food, we need to go to the white man's store. Even if it's an Arab selling it to you, well, the white man put him there, and he has to pay the so-called white man. He's Edomite. He has to pay the so-called white man to rent that store. And in thirst, the same, and in nakedness, the same. If he wants some clothes, you need to go to him. Even if it's an Asian selling you that stuff, that Asian person is renting that location from the so-called white man. Okay. And in want of all things, if you want money, you got to work for the so-called white man. Even if you work for a so-called East Indian, he is renting that. When he's renting that place from a so-called white man. Anyway, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And the yoke of iron is this. Okay. If you tell me that this happened to any other race on the planet Earth, I'm just basically laugh at you. Let me put this. Click. Bam. You're gonna see niggas. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Our people, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna see slave descendants. You're gonna see the so-called Negroes. Slaves obey your master. Colossians chapter 3 verse 22. See, the white man, he how you call it? He twisted the scriptures. This is probably Esau. That's how they draw Esau, I think. Anyway, this is what happened to the so-called Negroes. Okay? This is what happened to us. This did not happen to the so-called Jew. The people that call themselves Jews right now. Going back to this. Until he have destroyed thee. The Lord is destroying his people. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. What is the logo of the so-called white man? The eagle. He did it in Nazi Germany. He did it in Hitler. He did it in the Roman Empire. He did it with the Greeks, the Greek Empire. Hey, come on, man. Goddamn. Oh, man, I can't stand this. He did it with the Greek Empire, Roman Empire, Nazi, and America. And, yeah. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A nation of fierce countenance, meaning their army, and they had tough faces also. Look at them KKK members and basically the skinheads and stuff like that, and the Aryan, they got some tough ass faces, right? Which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. They used to beat everybody up, kill them, murder, not kill, murder actually.